Okay, let's dive into the ADT message type. ADT message basics. ADT stands for admission, discharge, and transfer. These messages deal with patients being admitted to the hospital, patients being discharged from the hospital, and patients being transferred from one location to another inside the hospital. Imagine a patient comes to the emergency room with a broken leg. First, that person would get admitted to the emergency room. The admission message lets all the other hospital systems know that the patient is in the ER. When they're ready to send the patient to a room in the hospital to recover, a transfer message gets sent to let all the other systems know the patient has been moved to a different room. And finally, when the patient is healed and ready to leave, the discharge message is sent to let all the other systems know the patient is leaving the hospital. There are lots and lots and lots of ADT messages sent every day in a hospital. Trigger event codes. A trigger event code is something that happens that causes a message to be generated. Each trigger event has a code associated with it. In other words, when a patient is admitted, that is a unique event trigger code. An admit is trigger event code A01. When a patient is transferred, the trigger event code is A02. For a discharge, the trigger event code is A03. For ADT messages, there are 62 possible trigger event codes. Now, it's important that we remember that these trigger event codes that are used in HL7 correspond to things that happen in the real world. This is not just for computer coding purposes. Okay? These all connect back to a real event involving human beings. When a human being is admitted, they get an A01. Right? That triggers that A01. When that patient is moved from CCU, the cardiac care unit, to a standard floor, that triggers an AO2. So it's important that we connect what's happening in the computer systems to what's happening in the real world. Trigger event codes are displayed in MSH9 to tell what happened that generated this message. Look at this example. And what type of message is this? What's the trigger event code, right? So here's our MSH segment. I haven't taught you how to count over yet, but trust me, this is MSH9, right? We can see that this is an ADT message, and it's an A01 event trigger code. So hopefully you found that, and you saw it's an ADT with an A01. That means it's a patient admission message. In your book, you have a list of the most commonly used. It's not a comprehensive list. It doesn't encapsulate all 62 trigger codes, but these are the most common ones. So I'm not going to read you that list. You can read it on your own. All right, so let's try a few to get the hang of it. What is the message type? What is the event code? What does the event code tell you about the message? Did you find it? It's over here, MSH9. It's an ADT message, and it's an A08. That's an update patient information. So that patient changed their last name, they changed their birth date, something was probably wrong in the system. Maybe somebody got married, maybe somebody got divorced, who knows. For whatever reason, we needed to update their information, and that triggers an ADT A08. How about this one? What is the message type? What is the event code? What does the event code tell you about the message? Again, it's over here in MSH9. It's an ADT A01 message. So that's an admit visit notification. And one more time. What is the message type? What is the event code? What does the event code tell you about the message? I'm guessing by now you're getting good at this. And it's an ADT, an AO2. An AO2 is a transfer patient message. So this person got moved from one part of the hospital to another. Consequently, it triggered a transfer message. So let's review the message structure. Messages are made up of segments. Segments are made up of fields. There are different types of messages. Each different type of message has its own unique combination of segments. In other words, the segments that make up an ADT A01 message will be different than the segments in an ADT AO3 message. And an ORM message will have a completely, wildly different set of segments. Also, the sequence of the segments matters. Every AO1 message will have the same segments in the same sequence. AO1 versus AO4. These two event trigger codes are confusing and commonly mixed up. Students get almost all the way through the entire program in radiology informatics, and they still cannot get AO1 and AO4 straight. So let's spend a few minutes just going through this in detail. An AO1 is an admit visit notification message. It's used when a patient who already has a record in the hospital information is admitted to the hospital or checks in for an outpatient visit. An AO4 is a patient registration. It's used when a patient is registered at the hospital for the first time or when that patient registers with a new service. Here's an example to try to explain that. A patient just moved to Lancaster and drops a moving box on his foot. He goes to the hospital for the first time. Okay, and he moved to Lancaster from Hawaii. So he hasn't been in this region for a while. So he goes to the hospital for the first time. They register him as a podiatry patient. This is an AO4. It's a new patient. He gets treated, he leaves. 2 days later, he comes back for a follow-up visit with the podiatry service again. Since this is a follow-up with the same service, it's an AO1 this time, right? It's a visit notification, right? AO1 is a visit notification. So he's seeing the podiatry service again, and so they just need to know, hey, he's here for his follow-up visit. A month later, he comes back to the same hospital, but he's complaining of chest pain. So he'll get registered as a cardiology patient. Since this is a new registration for a new service, it would be an AO4. So, a visit or admission of a patient who's already in the same system, who's seeing the same service, is an AO1. If it's a patient that's new to that hospital or has a new service, they will get an AO4. Okay? That's the difference between the AO1 and the AO4. AO4, new patient, new service, new. AO1, same patient, same service, AO1. All right. I think we got that down. Thank you for watching.